What's the term of this contract now that you've won this client?
Well,
Are you able to share?
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. That was the other huge thing from it. So like, they haven't made it a contract. They've actually made us a partner.
What? Oh my God, Tracy, I've got goosebumps.
I know.
Share with those who are watching the video a little bit in terms of how you cross paths with Feng Shui and how long ago was that? Yeah.
Right. It was probably between 23 and 25 years ago.
Okay.
Somebody mentioned to me, it just came up in conversation, and I cannot remember exactly how, but they'd heard this rumor about this thing called Feng Shui, they pronounced it. Right, okay, you know, what was that? They said, well, apparently, if you leave the toilet seat up, it flushes all your money away. Well, I'll be perfectly honest, I found that, I thought it was hilarious, you know, that something like that could be, you know, kind of like spreading around. Yeah, so that's kind of, and from then on, I don't know what it was. I think it was just being inquisitive. Curiosity often gets the better of me. So I decided to look into this so-called Feng Shui, which I now know is pronounced Feng Shui. But I decided to look a little bit deeper. So I was online, you know, looking at all sorts of things. And if you recall, you see, back in the day, in the UK anyway, over 20 years ago, it was kind of unheard of. You know, so there wasn't a lot of information that you could get on the subject. And what you could find was very scarce. So I was kind of like, oh, this is just a rumor. But speeding up the story, I can't give you 25 years worth. It was, I then found myself purchasing, I must have a complete library of Feng Shui books because, and I'm not exaggerating, I've got virtually every single book on Feng Shui. So I was so curious, but then the more I read into it, the more another can of worms was opened on the whole subject, you know, because what I now know was initially kind of like 8 mansions theory, which I found very intriguing. And then, like you quite rightly said, you find these bagwords that are put up online, and you're thinking, well, okay, yeah, southeast water, blah blah blah. And I'd be honest, I hold my hands up, I did that. I did do that.
Oh, we all did. We all had to start. Most of us started with fast food Feng Shui, so no guilt there.
So I was kind of like, well, I'm not really seeing much here. I mean, I even purchased, you know, a big I bought these huge goldfish. They were on the verge of being koi fish, these.
Oh wow, okay.
And yeah, and it was kind of like, this is in the southeast and not a lot's happening here. So anyway, fortunately I didn't get too many bad results from it, but I didn't get any results from it. So anyway, so there's so many stories I could tell you like that. But essentially then I decided, I thought, God, I don't know what it is about this Feng Shui thing, but I need to learn more. I was so curious. The floodgates have been opened for me. So
a question came up because you've been diving into this for 25 years and getting little to no results. What made you keep trying and not write off Feng Shui, right? You know, after like the 10th year of trying.
Exactly. Well, to be honest, yeah. I mean, there was a time I've dipped in and out. So I haven't been in it for 25 years every single day, because I did pull away from it, because I'm kind of like, I'm not getting anywhere with this at all. You know, I'm not seeing the results that the books speak about. You know, I'm just not getting it. And I'd like to consider myself fairly intelligent, you know, to be able to get my head around these things. And when I apply myself to something, I give it my all, you know. So I was like, this does not make sense. This can't be real. It cannot be real. You know, that was the conclusion that I was coming to. But then I don't know if it was fate, luck, whatever you want to call it, your destiny. I just kept dipping back into it. And I thought, right, okay, so there's something that's keeping me attached to this Feng Shui thing. Perhaps there is more to learn. I did it was a 3-year course with, I had a Feng Shui consultant. This was back in around 2007. And because I thought, I need to find out more. I'm just not getting it in the books. Perhaps it's not been translated into all the books.
Yes.
That was my thought process at the time. I thought maybe it's just not translated enough. So anyway, I got this guy, a lovely guy, really great. he studies Buddhism and stuff as well. And he, he came round, he did my work and my business. And if I'm totally honest, I didn't see any results, none at all. But I did ask.
Did he do your current house?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, I got this guy in, did everything he suggested. In fact, it was recommended then to have, the fish tank, hence my big goldfish. Plus I'd read about it anyway at this point. So I thought, okay, well, this all kind of coincides with what he's telling me. Obviously, as I say, I didn't get results from that. So I actually said to him, look, do you teach it at all? I really wanted to learn this. This, as I say, this was back then. I said, I need to learn this subject. There's something that keeps pulling me in. It's kind of like I'm almost hypnotized by this thing. It's got me.
It's almost like an abusive relationship, though. You keep wanting it. It's not giving you a result, but you keep wanting more.
I actually, it's funny you say, I did feel a bit like a sadist. I thought, oh my God, I keep punishing myself. But anyway, so what I did was, he said, well, actually, yes, I will be teaching. I said, that's fantastic. As I say, this was a long time ago. So there weren't many options on the table. And at this point, I didn't even know about Flying Star Feng Shui at all. So I thought, right, okay. So I did this. He said, it's a 3-year course. I said, fine.
Wow.
He said, yeah. I thought, okay, I'm busy anyway, but yeah, I'm going to make this work. So I said, okay, that's fine. So a lot of it was coursework that was sent to me. And then I had to, obviously, it was all about the history of where Feng Shui originated. I had to look into Buddhism, Shintoism, all kind of things. And then, so yeah, I did that. Well, I actually completed that in 2.5 years. And the end course was I had to find somebody that would allow me to practice it, in their business and stuff. So I did all of that. So like I say, for me, I'd kind of done what was on offer at the table at the time. And then I thought, so I came away again from it. I practiced it on other people as well, and they did see the odd results. But in hindsight, I actually think they had more belief in me than they actually did in the results. I think the last consultation I had was in 2017 by an internationally known Feng Shui consultant. Trained by many people. He actually lived in China for many years. And so he had a real good track record of, doing celebrities, you name it. So I thought, okay, let's look at the Flying Star route. At this point, I had already looked into Feng Shui, but only by books. So there was
into Flying Star, you mean? You started looking for
Flying Star. But at this point, it was kind of like there were so many unanswered questions. I'm kind of like, okay, well, I can see where you're going, but it's not really still explaining things to me. So anyway, he did my consultation, and unfortunately for me, he had the period wrong of my property. So I believed in him enough to actually make the changes, although my gut instinct was telling me otherwise. But I thought, no, I'm not the expert here, he is. So I made the necessary changes, and my God, it was disastrous very quickly. Within about 1 to 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, Sabrina.
What happened in the 1 to 2 weeks?
Right, okay. So what happened was everything was just falling apart. One day we're eating breakfast, my husband and me, and a tooth fell out. His tooth fell out. I'm kind of like, what is this? But the reason I mention about the tooth as one of the many things that happened was because I now know the changes that I had to make had actually activated all this negativity. So I was like, oh my God. So yeah, we had, with all the things that were going wrong, it was huge expenses. I felt miserable. My husband and me were bickering. I mean, don't get me wrong, as I say, we've been together many years, so that's going to happen.
It's natural, yes, but if there's an uptake, then yeah.
Exactly, but this was coming from nowhere. So I actually emailed him back and said, look, forgive me, but there's something really wrong here. There was a couple of things he asked me to do that I actually rejected, and I did tell him I don't feel comfortable doing those things. It felt really, really, excuse me, really, really wrong. I was now at this point, because of previous consultations, I was petrified of making any changes.
Yeah.
Because when you've experienced the negative side, when things are wrong, it's not pleasant. But I was still curious. saying. I don't know what it is about it, but I feel, you know, when you have that feeling something's missing,
Yeah.
you need to go in search
Oh, yeah.
deeper for it. I'm thinking maybe it wasn't the time before, you know, I'm making all the excuses for it. But yeah, and then I found you. And I joined your Feng Shui 2021 workshop. I must have watched every video of yours, and probably two or three times, to be honest. So you kind of, I actually believe you hypnotized me.
Oh no.
I'm
Siren
joking.
song.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. Because I was transfixed on the way you teach, and the knowledge that I did have. You were answering the questions already. The queries that I had, you were already answering for me just by watching your videos. So when I joined the Feng Shui 2021, I was like, I thought, let me see what this lady, you know, really shows for, you know. And like I say, obviously, I'm not an expert. I didn't know enough, but I had looked at a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay. And when I did the 2021, I thought, oh my God, this lady doesn't hold back. She does not hold back, which is what I felt that all the books did. Even with the consultations that I had, I would ask questions and they were skirting around the answer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why are you holding back? I actually felt like there was some secret code, almost. That's what it felt like. So anyway, so when I did your Feng Shui 2021, I thought, oh my God, the information that this lady gives you, you know, it pulled me back in. It gave me my love for it back. It really did. It's the only thing I could say. I mean, but it's just, like I said, I resonated with you immediately. Now, I'm not somebody that actually, I'm not easily fooled by people. So I could tell that the genuine vibe that you give off, because it's not just how you portray yourself on camera. The proof is in the pudding, in what you actually offer. Mm-hmm. So it's there, you know, you can't deny that. So regardless of what my mind may have been thinking, the information was there in front of me. What you promised to give, you give. So so that was it. Feng Shui 2021, I was hooked. Clicked onto the, joined obviously the Feng Shui 2022 as well.
Yes.
And when I then saw that you would do the course, I'm like, oh, this is online. I can actually do it, because I wouldn't be able to travel. You see, yeah. So I have a problem with the traveling side because of being so busy. And I thought, oh my God, I thought, do you know what, this lady, I mean, even what you charge for the course is on the same level as what I was paying for a consultant. So I thought, well, what have I got to lose?
Or actually, what I charge for the certification course is the same amount as what people charge for their fast food Feng Shui course. Yeah. Same amount.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I thought, well, God, you know, what have I got to lose? You know, because in my mind, okay, worst case scenario, I've paid for another consultation as such, you know, and maybe I learn something new, maybe I don't. Because at this stage, I've had all those years of not really getting much further. Mm-hmm. But oh my God, Safrina, you just blew me away. That course is, yeah, it's a heavy 4 days.
Because I don't hold back.
No, you don't hold back. but for someone like me, and I think anyone who's genuinely interested in truly learning the classical way, it's going to be intense. You know, It's not easy. It's not like, oh, okay, all Southeast are like this, all North are like that. So of course it's going to be intense. But the way you teach it is you simplify it to such a way that you can't not grasp it. You know, and that's not because you're being condescending in any way to, you know, minimize how you teach anyone. It's just you have such a fluidity in your teaching ability that it's kind of like, why didn't I think of that? You know, honestly, when you were, you know, the teaching, it was like, why can I get my head around that from books and stuff? Oh, that's because they weren't in the books, Tracy. You know, it's not in the books. And trust me, as I said earlier, with all the books I've got, and I'm talking, I've got hundreds, Safrina, you know, hundreds of books. None of them.
You have to tell me what you do with the books now.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're actually stuffed away in every single cupboard that I have. There's no room to have them on display. But
yeah, some of my some of my graduates, they're like, Safrina, I have all these books, but I don't want to give them away because they're just propagating fake feng shui info.
Exactly.
So one student said you can like give it away, but write down on the front page that if you're interested in feng shui, go to my teacher's website.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, that would be great.
yeah, totally. I mean, I would never dream of giving my books to anybody because it's false information. Well, I say false, it's just, I don't know. It's like, it's just not right. It's not right. It will give you false outcomes, you know, so it's just not worth even entertaining. It was a long journey to find that out myself, but, you know, for the benefit of others, I wouldn't torture them with it. I would say, listen, you know, don't mess around here. Do the course, you know, save your money. I mean, I dread to think. I mean, my husband's literally just walked out there. He's been kind enough to bring me in a cup of tea. But I dread to think what I've spent over the years. You know, it's honestly, it's ridiculous. But no, your course, Safrina, is absolutely outstanding. The knowledge that's there. I mean, so quickly, the questions were answered for me and more.
What were your biggest light bulb moment during the 4 days of the course?
Okay, I can't say there was one because there were a few, but to give you an idea, so bearing in mind, I was somebody that had minimal knowledge from, and I'm only talking from the sense of partly looking at trigrams, that kind of thing. So partly, I mean, essentially, it may as well have been a barcode because I didn't have the true meaning of what these things meant. So the biggest things for me were water placement. It's not that cut and dry.
No.
You know, there's obviously lots of other layers that you have to consider before even considering placing water. Activating money, it's not all about water. There's so much more to it than that.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I mean, and also one of the other biggest things for me was the how each area, if you like, can relate to a certain family member, and then how that mixes with all the other layers. It's fascinating. It is so fascinating. It's like I don't know, it's just like a puzzle. And previously I'd had all the pieces of a puzzle. Well, not all the pieces, but I had some pieces. I kind of had the corners, but I didn't have all the middle. But now I've got the other pieces, and I can actually make a picture from the puzzle. You know, it's just unbelievable. There were so many things, Safrina, that I got from it. My mind is still now blown, literally blown from the information that you get. To have that ability to be able to look at your layout of your property, whether it's for your business or your home, and identify why things are perhaps going wrong, why perhaps they're going right, why maybe you have certain health issues, why you have, you know, there were certain money losses at certain points, you know, to then be able to learn that anyway, you know, that is amazing. I mean, you feel almost like, you know, a new age psychic, you know. It's because to me, it's like a form of, because you can do like forensic feng shui, you can backtrack.
Which is what you did, right? Now that you could see where that second consultant went wrong, maybe even the first consultant, but the second one, especially when things started going bad, you were able to go back and do your forensic feng shui and figure out, okay, this is where he went wrong. And that's why my placements gave me bad results.
Definitely. Absolutely.
You probably paid a lot of money for that guy, right?
I did. More than the course. More than your course.
And now you can do your own place forever and ever.
Exactly that. You know, it's like there's so many layers to this whole thing that you can find out so much and you can achieve so much. My next thing is what I've achieved since the certification. Okay, so I took the certification course in February 2022. So that's what, a couple of months ago?
Yes,
The changes, now my husband and I, we've had our business, our private business for about 27 years, 27, 28 years. And the changes that I've made, it's like working at a different company. It's the harmonious environment, not every day, obviously you do still have your bad days.
Yes.
but especially working husband and wife working together, that can happen. But
Yes.
it's unbelievable how it's changed. We've got a brand new client since, I mean, I actually said, what happened? How did we get that client?
Was it a big client? How is getting this client, how does that impact your bottom line, really, since we're talking about business?
Okay, well, the client we've got is huge globally.
Nice. You didn't even tell me this.
No, I was saving this. Yeah, and we're actually dealing with the headquarters of this.
Nice. Yes.
So yeah, but you have to consider, Safrina, that we're a small company. We've been in this industry a long time, like over 30 years, but we are like that big compared to, you know, the rest of the industry. And this company actually said, we knew we were competing initially against other companies, as you do. And they actually said, you are competing against some major people,
players.
You know? And we were like, that's it. You know, it was nice while it lasted. We didn't get it, but you know, it was nice to be, you know, involved. So when we got it, they said no. They loved everything about us. Now, I put that down to the Feng Shui that you taught me, because the cures that I put in place to negate all these obstacles that were clearly previously there. You know, as I say, and you
didn't just do it at home, you did it in the office too.
Oh, definitely. Right? I was running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was running with it. I was like, I just have to do this. When I finished that, when I completed your course, my mind was blown, but I was buzzing to just do everything. As exhausted as I was, because I was already, you know, because of the time difference. There is a bit of a time difference, obviously, wherever you are located. But I was just, I have to do this now, you know. So, but yeah, so that was amazing.
Wow, congratulations, you guys.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Yeah, it's still early days, and we have done some amazing work for them. So yeah, I mean, especially with the last 2 years with, you know, the pandemic, our industry was probably one of the hardest hit. So
yes. What's the term of this contract now that you've won this client?
Well, are
you able to share?
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. That was the other huge thing from it. So like, it's hard to explain, because if like one massive thing happening, but it's actually multiple layered, because this, you say, what's the term of this contract? They haven't made it a contract. They've actually made us a partner.
What? Oh my God, Tracy, I've got goosebumps.
I know. They've made us a partner. They actually, it didn't sink in with my husband and me. We're kind of like, you know, we completed all the paperwork to set us up as an account. And I said, oh, you know, this will be like a preferred suppliers list, etc., etc. That's what would be added to. And they're like, and I actually said to my husband at the time, I said, these forms, I said, they're way more complex than what they usually are for a preferred supplier. I said, but hey ho, you know, we were still happy that, you know, we've won the client kind of thing. So so I completed it all. And then when my husband had gone for further meetings, they were like, you do realise, don't you, that you are a partner? I'm
wow.
You're like, why do they keep saying that to us? So it's as if they knew the penny hadn't dropped.
Wow. So, because it was just so not in your realm of possibility mentally, right?
I just like, I couldn't accept it. And then my husband, we were like, what do they mean? You know, we're not stupid. We do know what it means, but it was like, this doesn't happen to us.
Wow. You buried the lead there, Tracy. Wow.
I did. So, and then health-wise has also improved. I mean, I've been an asthmatic since I was in my 20s, quite a long time ago. And I'm touching wood here right now because it is so far improved. I'm reducing my medication for the asthma.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, it was an area that I did particularly want to focus on in terms of feng shui to see and I seem to have got there. I'm not going to count my chickens too quickly, but yeah, it seems it's never been so good for so long. So
wow.
So that's that.
And you've been in that house like close to 30 years,
Yep.
and you've had asthma since you were 20,
Yep.
right? In your 20s.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm not, I'm always, I'm not surprised. It still makes me jump when I hear stories like this. But you know,
you know, Safrina, I'm not surprised, because from my end, my perspective, it still gives me goosebumps when I see the results. So I can only imagine how you feel.
and you took the course really just 2 months ago. So
yeah, I know.
2.5 months.
I know.
Ago. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not guaranteeing anyone's life is going to change in 2.5 months.
yeah. But
you know, everyone's got their own timelines, but you know, it's just so awesome.
It is. I mean, I'll be honest, what I also did as well was I thought I'm someone that needs convincing all the time. So because of my previous experiences, you know. So at first I was like, I'm deliberately going to make something go wrong. Nothing major, but just something go wrong. And lo and behold, it did. You know,
oh, Tracy.
you really can. Yeah, I wanted to test it all the time, you know, because I think for quite some time, it's in the UK anyway. Feng Shui had a bad stigma attached to it anyway. So
I think it still does, but that's because of the misinformation of people either not getting results or getting bad results from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the problem with the industry. Yeah,
absolutely. So I could talk from experience of consultants, the books, everything else. They really are, you know, if you want to learn something, as I did, to find you, I found Pandora's box. You know, it was like,
you're not quite done. You only just took the first level, but imagine the life changes from the first level course.
Oh, you're teasing me, Safrina. In the Facebook group, which again is another huge bonus, you know, because you're in there with other people that have done the same certification course, and you help one another. If there's something you didn't quite get, you've got the replays of the course as well, so you can keep playing back, so you don't have to get it all in that 4 days.
Yes.
You can keep revisiting.
The learning continues after the 4 days. Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, I just love it, and as I say, the Facebook group is amazing because you're with like-minded people. You see.
Yes.
So they know where you're coming from.
And we have the same terminologies and, you know, formulas. Because if you're in other Feng Shui groups, they'll have different formulas, right? Even the part of calculating the period of the house, as you know, your second consultant had a different formula. So there's going to be a lot of bickering when you're in like those other groups, right? Yeah. But at least in our school, we talk, we do things the way we do it in our lineage, which is very different from what you can see in books or online.
Exactly. I would say the hardest thing for me was to kind of unlearn what I'd previously learned. Yes. That was the hardest thing. So if anyone out there that is seriously considering doing Feng Shui the proper way, the way to get results is to do Safrina's certification course, because otherwise you're making it even harder for yourself by trying to learn yourself from books. And I understand that it's difficult to know who to trust to teach you. I can assure you 100% Safrina is the real deal. She is the real deal. And I do understand, as I say, because I'm someone that reads all reviews to everything, you know, I watch everything to see what people really feel about whether it's a product or a person. And Safrina, what you see on her YouTubes is Safrina. What you see is what you get.
It's me.
Yeah, that is it. So there is no false front with you. You know, there's no false, you know, cover with you. I would say to people, just don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the energy on taking any other back door.
Yes.
This is definitely the way to go. And this is my first time in ever doing a review like this in my life.
Oh, is that right? You look absolutely natural doing it.
It's because I'm speaking from the heart. You know, I'm not, you know, I haven't got a script in front of me. Oh. This is from the heart. This is genuine, because I'm doing this because more people need to know about you. You've often said, I need to teach people, they have to learn the right way, the classical way, because it breaks your heart to know that people are doing it wrong.
Yeah, it's not so much that people need to learn about me. It's for people to learn about real feng shui. That's what I really want you guys to land here. Of course, you're like, okay, she just wants people to register for her course, line her own pocket. But, as you can see from Tracy and my other graduates' stories coming up, is that the knowledge, the right knowledge, and how it empowers you to change your life. That is the reason why I want you in the course. That really is, because I've been in situations where I felt so stuck. And fast food feng shui got me nowhere. And I had the same wonderings, like, it must work. What am I missing, right? So that's why I want to put you guys on the path of real feng shui, in that I've seen people put their fish tank in the Southeast and claim bankruptcy a few months after. And that's when I want to scream at the industry and say, you guys are hurting people.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely hurting people with the wrong information. And what really gets my goat, sorry, I'm on my soapbox right now. What really gets my goat are feng shui consultants who know they're doing it wrong, who are still charging people for it. For me, if you've been told you're doing fast food feng shui and you're seeing your clients getting bad results from it, the onus is on you as a consultant to make sure you're properly trained. But I've been in this industry professionally for 13 years, and I still see the same people reeling people in, taking their money. And then those clients come to me and say, my life went dark after doing what they told me to do. And I have a lot of issues with the industry and the way people are trained, but that's another another video. But
I totally understand where you're coming from. Knowing what I now know, and that obviously I know that there's more advanced courses to go through as well, but which I can't wait for. Knowing what I now know, I mean, even down to, when people say, oh, so this area is this and that area is that, even the way that is done in your course is different. You can't find it in the books. This is the thing. It's not in the books. Your way of teaching is not in the books. So that's why I was blown.
The textbook is not mine, being very transparent about that. It is my grandmaster's textbook. It is the same textbook that I got certified in, 13, 14 years ago when I first started. But obviously I put my own flair into it. Yep. But it is, and don't want to put all the, hurrah on me. It's the right knowledge that's being passed down. So the more I pass it down to you guys or other people who are open to it, the more the real information starts spreading, right? Yeah, and that's why I tell my students, you guys are my the new feng shui warriors now. You got to fight the fight with me. Yeah. Because it is a fight. The mainstream media, the misinformation is so big that the voice of classical feng shui is tiny compared to the boom of fast food feng shui info, right? But we gotta keep going, keep fighting.